Okay, in this video we are gonna go over how to simplify radicals. So we are gonna go over the vocabulary first. So you have prime factorization, radical, and perfect square. So first word, prime factorization means factoring until you are left with prime numbers. So if we have a 144 is 12 times 12, 12 is 4 times 3, 12 is 3 times 4, 4 is 2 times 2, 4 is 2 times 2, and you are gonna circle all the prime numbers. And there is another video that explains the definition of prime numbers, but again, prime numbers are numbers that have only two factors. So let's try 36. 36 is 6 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. 6 is 2 times 3. So 2 and 3 are prime numbers. So this is called prime factorization. And radical is this symbol. This symbol is radical. It's a symbol used to identify square roots, cube roots, etc. And radical is basically the inverse of an exponent. So if you have 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4, right? If you put 4 inside the radical symbol, this is 2. So it is asking what number, when you multiply itself, it will make 4. So it's inverse of an exponent. So you have perfect, you might already know perfect squares, but perfect squares is you multiply yourself. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25, 6 times 6 is 36, 7 times 7 is 49, 8 times 8 is 64, 9 times 9 is 81, 10 times 10 is 100, 11 times 11 is 121, 12 times 12 is 144, 13 times 13 is 166. So you can easily put them in the calculator and get the numbers, but you might want to memorize them. 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Like, memorize them. You want to memorize them. It will make simplifying radicals much easier. So we went over the, okay, so perfect squares, you can write it. Perfect squares is the number where you multiplied by yourself is the perfect square. So use prime factorization for the following examples, then list all factors. So 12, let's factor it 2 times 6, 6 is 2 times 3, and then these are prime numbers. If you want to list all the factors, 1, 2, and 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. 75, 5 times 15, 3 times 5, so 5 times 3 times 5. These are primes, and then factors are 1, 75, and then 3, 5, 15, 25. Okay, now factor the same numbers again. This time look for a perfect square. So you're gonna 2 times 6. Actually, we're gonna look for a perfect square. So 4 times 3. 4 is the perfect square. And then 75 is 25 times 3, because 25 is the perfect square. And then use the square root button on your calculator to evaluate the following radicals. So use the calculator, it will give you 8, it will give you 7. Square root of 48, let me get my calculator. If you put in your calculator, it will give you, it will give you decimal, gives you like 6.928, and square root of 63 gives you 7.937. Okay, so now evaluate, try evaluating but with the perfect squares. So remember, square root of 4 is 2 because inside is 2 times 2 and 2 comes out. So 72 you can factor as 36 times 2. And then what is the square root of 36? It is 6, so it's 6 square root of 2. Well, you can think of it as 6 times 6. So inside 6 times 6 times 2, this comes out. So this is your final answer. 125, let's divide by 5. Then it's 5 times 25. This is a perfect square. And what is the square root of 25? It's 5, so it's 5 square root of 5. Or you can think of this is 5 times 5. So this will come out. 27, 3 times 9. This is a perfect square. So square root of 9 is 3, so it's a 3 square root of 3. 16, square root of 16 is 4. It's a perfect square, so it's 2 times 4, which is 8. And then factoring with the variables. So remember, y cubed is y times y times y. X to the 4th power is x times x times x times x. So let's rewrite. This is 8 times m times m times x. And then it's 6 times g times g times g times g times x times x. And then now let's simplify with the numbers and variables. 64 is perfect square, right? And then x times y times y. So 64 is 8 times 8 and x times y. You can take them outside, so 8y and x stays inside. And then 20 you can factor is 4 times 5 times m times m times m times m. And 4 is a perfect square, so it's 2 times 2 times 5 times m times m times m times m. So this you can take them out. So 2 comes out, m comes out, another m comes out, 5 stays. So it is 2m squared square root of 5. Okay, have you noticed the connection between exponents and roots? 5 squared is 25, square root of 25 is 5. Same thing as cube root, 5 to the 3rd power is 125. If you see this small 3, it's cube root. Cube root of 125 is 5. Okay, so these are challenging problems, difficult problems. The simplest radical form is given. Find the original radical. So you can write 3 as square root of 9. So this is square root of 9 times square root of 5. 9 times 5, square root of 45. And again, you can write 2 as square root of 4. So this is square root of 4 times square root of 7. So it is square root of 28. So now you have these practice problems. So practice them and I can take your answer. I can give you an example. Square root of 24 to 4 times 6, 2 times 2, 2 times 3. These are prime numbers. So square root of 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Take out the twin. 2 comes out. 2 times 3 is 6. This is your answer. So try these problems and take your answers with me.